I'm going to be ranking World of Warcraft races based on who would make the best neighbor. So who would you want to live next to in real life? And I thought this was just a dumb, goofy tier list idea. And I was like, this is really stupid. Let's do it. So starting with gnomes. And gnomes is interesting because they could be really cool or really bad at the same time, right? Because gnomes are making a lot of cool contraptions. They're making a lot of cool gizmos and gadgets. They'd probably let you see some of those gizmos and gadgets and use some of them and be like, oh, this is cool. But at the same time, like, it's probably going to be 4 a.m, whether you're trying to fall asleep like myself or you're trying to wake up or like all this stuff. And you just, no matter, at some point in the night, you're going to hear these gnomes just like hammering away. They probably have like a garage or a basement. And you just hear like, right? And you got that happening. They might go outside and try, doing some weird shit like, and you hear like them zapping something in the middle of the night. Even during the day, maybe you're just like looking outside during the daytime and they're just like driving their little like gnome cart around like, whoa, I've invented this thing. Like going in circles, doing donuts. Honestly, I think I would not want to, I don't think I'd want to live next to a gnome. There it is. I don't think it would, there's, some fun things that could come from it, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it would probably be more bad than good. Draenei. I'm going to put them in the, I'll put them in the B tier because they seem friendly. I think the Draenei are friendly. They're pretty cool, but at the same time, like, these are the people that crashed their spaceship and radiated the Alkin and destroyed nature. And they try to fix it, but like at the same time, like that happened, man. Like they did that. So who knows? They might just like try to bring another spaceship over and then it crashes and destroys your house. And they're just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It radiated you. Right? Who knows? But again, they seem like they'd be nice, but there's always that like weird possibility of like some spaceship mishaps. So I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Now we have dwarves, and I'd say dwarves are S tier. Dwarves seem like they'd make fantastic neighbors. Like they're probably grilling up ribs or like smoking meat. They're probably making their own beer in the basement or some shit. Like, when it snows out, they're probably out there with snow blowers or shoveling. They'd shovel your sidewalk for you. They'd give you like great advice, like keep your feet on the ground. I think dwarves would be fantastic neighbors. They got to be up there with like some of the best neighbors. They just seem very personable, literally down to earth, keeping your feet on the ground. And just they seem like they'd be great. So yeah, I'd put dwarves up in the S tier. Undead. Man. This is a weird one because I feel like right away undead probably smell terrible. Right? I don't know for sure, but I feel like they smell terrible. So that's not good. How far is that stench going to radiate from their house? Okay, that's another question. Hey, but the other thing is, I feel like they wouldn't even go outside that much. They would probably just sit inside most of the time. I don't think they'd want to go out into the sunlight that often. So that's not too bad. So with all that being said, I think I'd put them in the C tier. And you know what? They might be friendly. They might just be like the type that keeps to themselves, right? They're just like, be on with it. What are you doing? Right? Whenever you talk to them in game, they're just like, be quick about it. Right? So they're probably just like the kind that's like, stay off my lawn, go away, right? They'd probably be like that. But at the same time, like if you stay away from them, they'll stay away from you, right? It's just leave them alone. And as I'd say, as long as they don't smell that bad and it's not radiating to where you live, like, I don't know, it's kind of whatever. I probably wouldn't want to live next to them, but yeah, I'd still put it there. Now this is actual gnomes. I did mecha gnomes. You know what? It's all the same. They're all it's just different types. Goblins. Okay, because Goblins, it's going to be kind of similar to gnomes, I think, where they're probably doing some weird shit. You're getting explosions. They're probably running some like get rich quick schemes. Like, I feel like the goblins would show up at your house like, hey, I just found this great program where you buy my thing and you invest in this product, and then it's like a pyramid. There's the guy at the top, and then there's me, and then you know, like they'd fall for pyramid schemes. They try to get you to buy shit. I don't think I'd want to live near the goblins. Like I'm trying to think of some other stuff, because yeah, they're gonna have explosives. That's bad. Who knows what could happen or how big that explosion radius is. I feel like there's just like too many bad things that could happen, I think, with goblins. So I wouldn't want to risk it. Goblins and gnomes, I think, would make some of the worst neighbors. They're probably, I feel like they also start a lot of drama. They'd probably be like, I don't like old man Jenkins back there, so I stuck a stick of dynamite in his house. You know what I mean? They do some shit like that. But I feel like also if you were friendly with them, they wouldn't bother you. It'd probably be like they'd bother all the people that they didn't like. But that might also, in return, kind of impact you in some way. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be near the goblins. Night elves, however, I think night elves would be, they gotta be another S tier. Night elves would probably just be out there like feeding the squirrels, you know, feeding the birds, growing a bunch of trees. They'd probably have like some fantastic gardens, like really, really pretty yards and flowers and like a whole bunch of stuff. And they would probably just be really nice, right? You go over there and they're just like, hey, you know, come on in, have like they'd go to like Whole Foods, right? they'd have like Whole Foods brand like energy bars or like various mixed nuts, like smoothies and shit. So you know, maybe some tea. Like honestly, like they'd be pretty good neighbors. Now I'd say the only thing that probably could happen, maybe they're a little too far gone with the nature stuff, right? Like maybe their house has like you know, it's a little bit more run down, and they're just like, whatever. And then there's like mice and shit living in their house, and like various raccoons and stuff. Like that might be a thing, but I think for the most part they'd be pretty solid neighbors. Yeah, you know, I'd put them in the S tier. Tauren are almost on the same level as night elves, but I think I'd put them in the A tier, because again, they got a lot of fur. They're just like, they're probably when they walk around, it's like stomping the earth, like the earth shakes when they stomp. I feel like you could, it's kind of like the undead thing. Whenever you'd see them, they probably smell like a wet dog. Like it's probably like it's like Chewbacca. Like they're like a wet dog times 10 because they have so much fur. But they're probably still really friendly, right? And they're also kind of like the night elves. They're connected to nature. It would be kind of weird when you'd have to barbecue or something. You're like grilling up steak, and then they just walk outside and they're just like, can you just not grill steak, man? Like, we really hate the smell of steak over here. It's weird. Okay, how would you like it if we started grilling up humans, right? So that would be kind of weird, but I still think they'd be very friendly neighbors. But yeah, there's just some things that'd be a problem. Like I'd probably have to cook my steak indoors and just be like, yeah, I don't want to do this in front of the Tauren. So yeah. Blood elves. Blood elves are definitely the rich, snobby neighbors, right? And that could go either good or bad. Like they would definitely call the HOA. They would call the city constantly. They would be filing complaints. They would either have like a bunch of money and have like a yacht and fancy cars and a bunch of shit, or they would have the illusion of that, right? They'd have like a middle class life, but they'd live like they're rich. There'd be something like that going on. They'd probably go to you and be like, can you please trim your grass a little better? You know, like I could see them doing something like that. Or being like, your guest has parked more than 4 hours in the guest space in the vicinity. Like they would probably just complain about a bunch of shit. But at the same time, like, I don't think they'd be that bad. They could be, maybe they invite you over to, I don't know, go on their yacht or take a ride in their fancy car, or, you know, go out to some fancy wine place to drink and chill out at. That might be nice. You know what? I'll put them in the B tier. I'd say B tier. Yeah, because that could kind of go both ways. Humans. I know, I mean, we have human neighbors in real life. Like, they, you know, they're okay. I'll put them in the C tier. Human neighbors are all right. Culture, it's essentially just more humans. Put them in the C tier. Like, whatever, you know what you're getting into. They could be nice. They could be crazy. They, you know, they can be anything from all of the above. Lightforged. I don't even know the difference between Draenei and Lightforged Draenei, to be honest. So it says here that Lightforged Draenei have undergone a sacred ritual to have their bodies permanently infused with holy light. And that's interesting. I don't know if that means, like, are they always just shining like the sun? Right? Like, are they in their living room and you look out and then you just see, like, light just blasting from them? You're like, oh my god, the Lightforged Draenei are watching TV in their living room. Right? Like, is that happening? Because that might be pretty annoying. But they're also probably friendly because they're like Draenei or something. And I don't know how powerful the light radiating from them is. And it's probably not that bad during the daytime. It'd probably be more of a nighttime thing. But I guess you could just put up like blackout curtains. Because I mean, I do that anyway to keep the sun out, you know, when you're trying to sleep or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. That's not bad. I'd put them in the B tier again. Then we have the Magar orcs. Well, there's the orcs and the Magar orcs. I feel like orcs. I mean, I'm gonna group them together because I mean they're just orcs. I'd probably put them in the B tier. They seem like they'd be pretty friendly. Like, I feel like orcs would be into like UFC and shit. And they would just like wrestle or like wrestling. They'd build like a wrestling rink in their backyard and be like, yeah, we're gonna wrestle. Like that type of stuff. So maybe, although that'd be kind of fun to watch from your house, right? You look outside, you see orcs wrestling in the backyard, being like, whoa. That could get kind of loud at night, and then I'm sure if you complain, they might get mad. So that'd be kind of rough. But I feel like they'd be pretty chill a lot of the times too. It's just like, don't get in the way they're wrestling. I like how I just made it so they're like, yeah, they love wrestling. Yeah, I'd say they're on the low end of B. They're like bordering on C, but like I don't know. I'd say B. Like, I still think they'd be pretty cool. Like, you know what? I think orcs would help you with like any type of moving shit you needed to, right? Like if you're like, oh man, I gotta move this couch, or like there's something I gotta get done, you would be like, hey, could you help me out? And I think they'd help you out, right? They're like, they're ready to help you move something like a car, you know, help you, you know, any type of moving thing, they could help you with that. So I don't know, I'd put them in the B tier. Then we have that's the Void Elves? Or no, that's not Void Elves. That's the little Nightborne. I feel like Nightborne are interesting because they're probably really chill, really cool, but they need their like mana drugs, right? Like they need their arc wine or whatever it is. So you'd always have to be like, I hope the neighbors get their arc wine so they don't go crazy and become Nightfallen or withered, right? Because then they're kind of like drug addicts, you know? You're essentially living next to like people that could easily become magical drug addicts. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends. Like as long, it's almost like living next to a vampire, right? As long as they're getting their blood, they're okay. But I guess a vampire would be worse because then they could go after your blood, right? They're like, I need blood. I'll go get my neighbor's blood. You know what I mean? But with arc wine, you know, like I don't got any arc wine. I don't got any mana. So they would have to like get it somewhere else, but then they'd go crazy. But I don't know. You know what? I'd put them in the B tier. Like it might get weird if they don't get their arc wine or their mana, but I think for the most part they're pretty chill. They'd be all right. You know what? They might. I don't know if I can drink arc wine. I would try some arc wine. Like I wouldn't need it to survive, so it's kind of whatever, right? They probably have a bunch of good wine. They probably have other good wine taste. So yeah, you know what? I'll put them there. Pandaren, that's absolutely S tier. Absolutely S tier. Pandaren, just really chill. Also brewing their own beer. They're probably just very patient, making great food, relaxing. Doing their like yoga and tai chi and like karate and like a whole bunch of different things. Like, I would love to live next to a Pandaren. That would be fantastic. Just without a doubt. Like, they're up there with the best. In fact, if I'm ranking these like this, I don't know if I'd want to. I might even put them as number one. I think I might put the Pandaren as number one. Granted, you know, they could also have the problem of the Tauren where they'd smell bad. But I feel, oh man, I feel like I wouldn't even care at that point. They might just be so cool and so chill. Be like, you know what, whatever. You know, maybe they have like Pandaren deodorant. I'd put them at S tier. Trolls. I mean, the standard thing here is that the trolls are probably just really chill. They're probably potheads, right? Just getting really high, like, what up, man? You know, they might go fishing, which would be pretty cool. I'd probably put them in the A tier. I think trolls would be pretty cool to live next to. But, you know, sometimes maybe they would just get too high and you'd just be like, hey, man, you just, like, stop getting high all the time. And then they just can't. They're just always high. So that might be a little bit annoying. But, yeah, they'd probably have great, like, great fish they cook up because they're all about the island life. So, yeah, I think they'd have great food. You go fishing with them. Yeah, troll, and they'd be really chill. Like, overall, they'd be really chill, never really get mad. So I'd do that. Now we have the oh my god, I literally just said it. The Void Elves. Oh my god. I don't really know that much about the Void Elves, to be honest. I don't know. I'm sure they're all right. I'll just put them in the B tier. I don't know. They can, maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll just put them in the C tier. They kind of just. I don't really know enough about them to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna put them in the C tier. Earthen. I actually think Earthen would be in the A tier. Earthen are pretty chill. I think they would just be doing their own thing, keeping to themselves. They'd probably be really intelligent. You know, you could probably like read books with them and like talk about science. They'd probably watch like Mythbusters or whatever. I don't know. I think Earthen would be pretty cool. Although they would probably be really into rocks and they'd like eat minerals and stuff, right? Because they can eat rocks and gems and stuff. So that'd be kind of weird, but. You know, maybe you got some rocks you don't need anymore. They could just eat them. Or do they eat, like, actual rocks? I don't even know. I don't know the specifics. The Highmountain Tauren, I'd probably put them in the A tier as well. I mean, to me, it's just like, you know, Tauren again. Now we have the Vulpera. I mean, I think Vulpera be all right. I mean, what do the Vulpera mainly do? You know what? They'd probably be out, like, traveling around. Does Vulpera are mainly... would they even want to live next to you if you didn't live in the desert? Like, what if you didn't live in the desert? Because they're, like, desert foxes. And they're also nomads. So I feel like... Yeah, they're always traveling across the dunes, and they're out. You know what? They'd probably be the type where if they didn't live in the desert, they would just be vacationing all the time. Like, they would probably be vacationing in the sand dunes, in the deserts, going to hot places. They'd probably, like, rarely be home. So, you know what? I actually think they'd be in the A tier. I'd put them in the A tier. Just because I think they'd always be out vacationing. They seem like they'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. Worgen. I think I'd put Worgen in the C tier. Because, like, I don't know. I don't think I'd want to live next to, like, a werewolf person. That would just kind of freak me out. Because I would just be like, are they going to go crazy, right? Like, you might see them normal during the day, like, how's it going? And then by night, they're in the backyard, like, prowling around. That just kind of freaked me out. But you know what? I think if you, like, knew them and knew who they were, they probably wouldn't hurt you. Like, it'd be whatever. But unlike the goblins and the gnomes, who I think have the potential to where they could blow up your house or something. But who knows? Like, who knows with the Worgen? Like, they might get, like, bloodlust and start going crazy through the neighborhood. And you're like, watch out for that Worgen. Listen, I don't know how it works. So I'd put him in the C tier. Dracthyr? I don't know. They're just like dragon people. So you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put them in the B tier. They're kind of whatever. I don't really know enough about the Dracthyr, to be honest. I don't really play a Dracthyr. I don't really know, like, their typical personality traits or anything like that. I mean, they can, like, glide around. I know they can glide. They can probably fly around a little bit too or something. I don't know. It'd be all right. I'll just put them in the B tier. And then the other types of trolls, the Zandalari trolls, which I don't know. I'll put them in the A tier too. I mean, they're just trolls, right? So there we go. That's my who would I want to live next to as my neighbor tier list. That was a fun one. That's kind of a goofy one. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. Who would you want to live next to as a neighbor? Who wouldn't you want to live next to? What things you agree or disagree with? Let me know anything. Maybe you're like, Crendor, the Worgen have a intellectual thing where they don't actually go crazy, so you would be like, I don't know, just tell me. I don't know enough about lore sometimes, so let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you want some more WoW tier lists, I'll put them up right here. I have a bunch of these dumb WoW tier lists you go watch. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay? Okay. See ya.